Thank you very much for staying with us. Now let's settle down for the details of our stories. It has been confirmed that a Ghanaian has been killed in the xenophobic attacks ongoing in South Africa. Emmanuel Kweku was found dead by the roadside with head injuries. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Hannah Tete, confirmed the death of the Ghanaian on her Twitter account. In the tweet, she said, "The matter is being investigated by the South African police and the embassy is following up on this matter. There will be a meeting at the South African Ministry of Foreign Affairs with African ambassadors today to discuss the issue." She went on to say that the Ghanaian embassy will advise on the need for evacuation of Ghanaian citizens if necessary. Meanwhile, thousands of immigrants seeking refuge in temporary shelters have expressed disgust on the xenophobic attacks. Reports suggest heavily armed South African police have scrambled to stop the attacks after local residents accused immigrants from other African nations of taking their jobs.
The police, instead of supporting us, they are supporting those guys. They are here, there. They are not talking to them. They are coming to us. They are spraying to us. Where must we go? Here you see, this is my door. My children are here. My wife is here. No one is going to support me.
Somalia not safe, but what must I do? No choice now.
Even here, we are not safe.
No, even here, not safe. You kill him. You burn him. Even you make fire.
If they take us back to our countries, maybe it's gonna get better because we end up dying here.
I think South Africa is a bad country because they are killing us for no reason.
Very shocking images coming in from South Africa. It is very much uncalled for, and we are hoping that at least something is done about it, especially the authorities in South Africa, before the issue escalates, because we are already picking up signals that some persons who are members of the Boko Haram, that threat terror group in Nigeria, have also issued a threat that if authorities in South Africa do not stop or put a stop to what is happening there, they would, in less than 24 hours since the threat was given, also start attacking South Africans in Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon and other neighboring countries. But this is not what I think we want as a continent. So we are keeping a tab on this particular development to see how it unfolds. But we hope that authorities set up and get to the bottom of this. Now, the Foreign Minister, Madam Hannah Tete, has tweeted about this particular development and has also been speaking on it on Accra-based Radio Gold. We have that voice clip for you.
We don't know what happened because, as I just said, his body was found at the side of the road. And the matter has been reported to the South African police and is being investigated. But as I'm sure you will be aware, there has been a number of xenophobic attacks against African immigrants in South Africa over the last week. And therefore, it is not also possible to discount that he may have been a victim of one of those attacks. But to the best of our knowledge, and from the reports we received from the mission, the matter is being investigated, and therefore, until such time as they are able to give us more information, that is all that we are able to say about that specific case. But in the meantime, our ambassador has been in touch with the Ghanaian community, the leaders of the Ghanaian community, and Ghanaians in South Africa have been asked to restrict their movement. We have not heard of any other deaths, neither have we heard of any other serious injuries. Though we are aware that other African nationals also have, some have been very seriously injured and some have died. We've advised them to restrict their movements, and therefore, as much as possible, they should not be out and about. And indeed, my understanding is that generally is the advice that has been given to other African citizens as well. I must also add that this morning there is going to be a meeting of African ambassadors with the Foreign Minister of South Africa. this is an opportunity when you have an ambassadors meeting for the foreign ministry to be able to brief the ambassadors of different states as to what the situation is and to give certain information that may not be in the public domain and may not have been reported in the media. It also gives the ambassadors the opportunity to ask any questions that they want to ask regarding the measures that have been taken for the safety and protection of their nationals.
All right, so that's Madam Hannah Tete. She is the Minister for Foreign Affairs, and she was speaking on the issue about and confirming the fact that a Ghanaian has died or has been confirmed dead in the attacks in South Africa. We want to get an update on how the situation is like right now in South Africa, and we've been joined on the line by an online journalist who is based in South Africa, Umari Stambuli, to tell us exactly what the situation is, where specifically he is, and what he can report. Umari, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Martin. How are you?
Very well, thank you. We hear that you are specifically around Johannesburg, and the attacks have spread from Durban, where it started, and is coming towards the capital city of Johannesburg. Is that the case, and what else can you tell us?
Martin, actually, in some areas of Johannesburg, it's still tense and still volatile at the moment, especially where many foreign nationals are based and where they are running their shops. It started like a day before yesterday when the violence moved from Durban and came to Johannesburg. Those were targeted are mainly Nigerians, Somalis, Zimbabweans, Zambians and Tanzanians. So it's happening in those areas where many foreign nationals are staying. That's where the violence is taking place, and there's been a lot of police presence from yesterday evening and this morning to hear some sirens, police going that side to try and cross the situation.
How can you help us to understand how all of this started?
You know what, when you're talking to many South Africans, local South Africans, their main reason they're saying these foreigners, they came in here and they're taking away our jobs. Like they say, if they went in like local communities where these guys are saying there are few resources, then these guys, they came in, they're taking away our jobs, they're taking away our lives, our source of livelihood. That's where the bond of condition is. But then an interesting thing, I was talking to one documentary maker who did a documentary from 2008 on xenophobia in South Africa. She wanted to launch it last year, but she couldn't do so. What happened is she went into the communities, she talked to the victims and perpetrators of xenophobia. What came out, like many of these guys, South African locals who are beating and killing people, are being paid by some multinational companies. The reason why is because when the Somalis and Nigerians came in here and started their shops, these guys have been doing quite well in the local townships. So many South Africans no longer go to town or to the malls to buy at those shops, and they're preferring to buy those guys. So which means these big companies are now losing a lot of money to these foreign shop owners.
Wow. That's really shocking. You are originally a Zimbabwean, and you're living in South Africa and working there. How are you coping with all these?
To me, actually, I haven't met like any problems because where I come from is in Bulawayo, Matabele, and it's part of my tribe is part of the Zulu tribe here, so I can easily speak the language here, and also they can identify me as one part and parcel of their community. But there are some guys from Zimbabwe who speak a different language, and it becomes difficult for them to be speaking Zulu. So those guys are easily targeted by many South Africans because they can't speak Zulu, their local language. They can say, yeah, I'm a foreigner. And you know, many of our brothers from West Africa, especially Nigerians, can see them easily. Big bodies and the accent also. Somalis definitely can identify them. So those as the people are being targeted by the local South Africans.
And do you have any close friends or relatives who have been affected by this unfortunate development?
At the moment, I don't have anyone whom I know or can say a close relative or friend who has been affected. But I have been talking to one of my friends in Durban. Actually, Durban, is the city where the whole thing started. I think you remember the Zulu king, King Zwelithini, is the one who said these foreigners should be destroyed, they should go back. So he's based in Durban, has been telling me the situation is very tense, and he knows a lot of guys who, some have been beaten, some are hospitalized at the moment, and some are being repatriated back to Malawi or Zambia.
All right, we hope that you stay safe throughout and a stop is put to this unfortunate development. Thank you very much for speaking with us. And we have been speaking with Umar Stambuli. He is an online journalist based in South Africa, originally Zimbabwe, and half of his family come from Zimbabwe, but he is in South Africa, and half of his relatives are also South African. And he was giving us an update of how the situation is. He is in Johannesburg specifically. The situation started in Durban, one of the cities, and has spread and gotten to the capital city, which is Johannesburg. And according to him, the situation is getting out of control, although there is heavy security, and we hope and pray that this issue is nipped in the bud as soon as possible, because all of us have friends, relatives, loved ones, classmates. A lot of people have, relations one way or the other in South Africa. Unfortunately, the whole of the continent supported South Africa when they were in apartheid, when they were struggling. Now we have come together and hope that you're going to be enjoying peace, and the situation seems to be turning around. You should read what the Zimbabwean president has said about this development. Said it is very unfortunate, and a number of world leaders have started condemning it. President John Dramani Mahama has also done that. Meanwhile, the president of South Africa himself, Jacob Zuma, has condemned the spate of xenophobic attacks on that country and has called for calm.